Hey Gary, how's it going? Kevin, what's up? Elizabeth? Yeah, well, you guys can always come back and watch this later. Bill, did Bill get some Litecoin? You get Litecoin, Bill? Good for you. Linda, hello? Mike? Lisa? Good job, Bill. Give it a couple of seconds here. We get some stragglers. Because of the rally tonight, it's probably going to be a little bit lower participation. No problem. Always watch later. Got a couple more coming in here and we'll get started. I think. We've got a couple more coming in. Maybe. All right, let's just go ahead and start. Swampwatch. 11/26/19. Had the first defection. Rita, how you doing? Kathleen, glad you made it. Uh, the first defection from the Democratic Party is on as far as the impeachment vote goes. Brenda Lawrence, Democrat from Michigan, has bailed. Um, Rita got some Litecoin. Good work, guys. Keep it up. Um, this whole thing is David. Glad you made it. Um, yeah, this whole impeachment deal is imploding. Uh, they're starting to understand how badly um, this has played for them. It's driving thousands of Democrats to the Republican Party every day. Rebecca, how you doing? Um, so expect more to come. As this thing plays out. Anybody that wants to get reelected is going to have to run like crazy. Um, yeah, pretty amazing. Uh, yeah, global recovery is derailed as world trade plunges again. Hopes fade for 2020. It just keeps getting worse. James, how you doing? Chad, hello. Um, it's just one thing after another. The WeWork fiasco threatens SoftBank survival. There's another bank ready to go down. It's just one thing after another, guys. Um, Unbelievable. Germany is uh, is is ready to go down. That's separate from Deutsche Bank. So you got Deutsche Bank ready to go, and then you got the country ready to go. It's I don't know. It's any day, guys. It's I could literally just read off for an hour the negative financial information. It's so horrible, and it's worldwide. Um, Unbelievable. Uh, South Carolina is pushing through a legal tender act. Looks like they're going to join Utah, Wyoming, and Oklahoma as making gold and silver legal tender. Trust me, guys, in 6 weeks, in 6 weeks, you're going to see nearly every state in the union um, will will have the same legislation. People, even the states now are starting to see this. There's no way for this to go except for down. Well, they're not only in a recession, Germany. I mean, they're on. When the problem is when you announce something like that, when they admit it, it means it's already 10 times worse than they're saying. I mean, really, we're in a recession. They're not admitting it yet, but clear as day. And more. U.S. consumer confidence tumbles for the fourth straight month, despite soaring stocks. So you've got a stock market that they're setting records every week, and yet consumer confidence is dropping like a rock. There's a huge disconnect between what they want to tell us the stock, or excuse me, the economy is. And basically what the government wants us to believe is that the economy is the stock market and the unemployment rate. That's what they focus on. And nothing could be further from the truth. We've got, by their numbers, they're not correct, but by the numbers they're giving us, the lowest unemployment in 50 years plus. Stock market setting records every day. And then you go look at downtown LA and San Francisco and tell me how good you think our economy is. It is, for the average person, it's brutal out there. There are certain niche bubbles that people can still make a living and there's still work, right? But as a whole, it's getting bleak unless you're really adaptive and have a really wide skill set. It's getting harder and harder for people to find jobs. I mean, jobs you can support your family on. That's how they get these job numbers up and the unemployment rate down, is because, a guy loses $100,000 job and he takes two jobs that make him 50, so he's making half as much money working twice as hard, and it looks better for the economy. Is it really better for the economy? It's all smoke and mirrors, guys, and it's becoming more and more evident. And as soon as consumer confidence tanks completely, well, that's when the whole thing will go, if it hasn't already, which we know it's any day now. Something's going to push it over the edge. Whether it's the deep state globalists taking it down, whether it's President Trump declaring a reset, whether it's something organic like Deutsche Bank going, China just had another bank run. It's, what are they up to, 2 or 3 now in the last couple of weeks? They're having to raise the rates on the deposits to keep people in the banks, which they're going to regret it. But I mean, what good does an extra couple of percent interest rate do you if your money's gone, next week? It's not going to end well anywhere, really. It's going to end well if you have physical silver and Litecoin. Things are going to go very well for you. If you don't, if you're buying the Kool-Aid, if you're drinking the Kool-Aid that the mainstream media is pushing, you're going to be in trouble. You need your insurance. And that's how you have to think of physical silver and Litecoin. It's insurance against what is coming, what is imminent. It's happening, guys, whether you want to believe it or not. And the problem is, if you look at it from this perspective, right now, one Litecoin sells for around $47. Some analysts believe that by 2024, they will be worth $3 million each. I think that number is conservative. There are only 84 million Litecoin in the world. There are only about 20 million still available. In other words, 64 million approximately have already been sold. Yet, 3 or 4 days ago, 84 million Litecoin traded in one day because of the exchanges. In other words, they weren't real Litecoin. They were exchange Litecoin. That's why once you get your Litecoin, you've got to get them out of the exchanges. Because eventually, these exchanges will probably go the way of the banks. They probably won't survive it. So you don't want any more Litecoin in your Coinbase account than you need, like I've talked about using your Coinbase as a secondary bank account. If you don't need it, get it into your ledger. Get it safe, because I think the worst case, possibly, like take Coinbase, for example. I think Coinbase is one of the strongest exchanges out there. They're very solid right now. When the economies go, it's going to put a lot of pressure on them, I think. When that happens, everybody's going to be pulling their Litecoin. That's why you want to get it out now. I would take the same approach with Coinbase as you do with your bank. Don't leave any more in than you can afford to lose. It's the same as your cash in the bank. I understand that if you own a business, there's certain situations where you have to have more cash in the bank. But if you don't leave any more in than you have to. Because whatever's in there, eventually it will be lost to you when this thing blows up. We're getting the same old um, smoke and mirrors about the trade deal. It's one of the problems with the stock market is basically it's traded by algorithms. So something someone says, that transcript gets fed in to these computers, and then it analyzes everything, and then it makes its buys or sell orders based on the information that's coming in. Um, at some point, it's going to cause the whole thing to blow up. But here you have, they know, all they have to do is, oh, we're almost close to a trade deal. We're almost close to a trade deal. How many times have you heard that in the last 2 months? Like every week, every other day, we're almost close to a trade deal. Stocks jump 50 points. It's eventually it's the little boy who cried wolf, right? Eventually people stop listening. Eventually consumer confidence tanks because they see, well, wait a minute, you've said that now 10 times. I don't think there's going to be a trade deal. There's too much going on with what's going on in Hong Kong, with what's going on with this new legislation about supporting the protesters, which of course has really angered China. We don't need China, guys. China needs us. I could care less if we get a trade deal with China. It's to China's best interest. But they're afraid of being perceived as weak by their people. But that won't make any difference if the people of China revolt because of the economic conditions, which are getting worse there too. And we've seen what's going on in Hong Kong with the repressive regime. Nobody, I don't think, wants to live in a communist country. Nobody that's intelligent. If you're ignorant and you listen to the propaganda, they can make it sound pretty appealing. But for anybody that's got an IQ over 50 that can look back at history and analyze, these ridiculous scenarios and claims, socialism doesn't work. Never has worked, never will work. China in 5 or 10 years will be a democratic country. Russia in 5 or 10 years will be a democratic country. I think Russia already sees the handwriting on the wall. China's still fighting it, but they won't be able to fight it for long. Once this economy goes, they're going to have a ton more pressure on them. And then it's either going to get bloody, they're going to fight the people when they do rise up, or hopefully it'll be relatively peaceful and they'll understand that they're not going to change the course. Because this isn't just about socialism and communism. This is about a worldwide awakening where people are going to stand up and say, enough is enough. Enough of the tyrannical governments, enough of the satanic pedophilia, enough of being robbed blind by central banks. They're all coming to an end. The UN's going, NATO's going, central banks are going, including the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the CIA will go. There are big changes coming, guys. And these communist countries are going to change too. The question's going to be, how smooth are the transitions going to go? I think Russia's going to go smoother than China. Time will tell. Thank God we are in America with God and President Trump leading the way. Because, like I've said for a couple of years now, we are going to get through this much better than any other country in the world. Um, Especially the countries that have globalist governments, they're going to struggle because they don't care about the people. Their whole, depopulation, crisis is good. Crisis creates chaos. Chaos creates death. Death is what the globalists want. Just look at Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. It doesn't really make any difference, guys. They may say different things. It's all part of the same program. One goes down, they all go down. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the globalist agenda, globalism is dead. John Solomon, everything changes when President Trump releases all of the documents around the Ukraine. Soros is involved. These criminals were taking money that was supposed to be used for aid and then funneling it into George Soros NGOs. That were basically, our whole message in the Ukraine, official message, was fighting corruption. When in fact, we were feeding the corruption through George Soros. This guy has got to go. He is as big a monster, I think a bigger monster than Hitler. When you look at all of the turmoil and destruction this jackass has caused around the world, they need to string him up. He needs to be one of the first ones to be executed. He's got to go. And the sooner he goes, the better. The sooner he goes, the less likely we are to have violence in America. Because it's coming through him. Antifa, BLM, all of these organizations funded by this clown. It's if President Trump had been in power for the last 10 years, 2 terms, whatever, Soros would already be executed. And he will be executed, well, I think before the 2020 election. When the swamp starts, he's going to be one of the main targets. He's going to be as big, I think, for all practical purposes, he might be the biggest target. Because you got people like Obama and the Clintons, they're mostly hacks. They're running off the orders that are coming through Soros. And Soros is not the supreme commander. He might be the main spokesperson for the globalist agenda in America, and maybe for most of the world. But it's the Rothschilds, the Pacers, the Rockefellers. It's the really, really, really big money. It's the money that's been around for hundreds of years. Um, they're the ones who are really calling the shots. Soros is just another errand boy. He's one of the higher up errand boys. Like he's above Obama. He's above the Clintons. Might have been above Bush, although that was tight because Bush was way up there too. But he goes, things become a lot easier. And ultimately, it's him and his money that need to go. Well, Trump's the best thing. Well, when people and historians analyze what's happened in our country, President Trump, well, he's going to go down as our greatest president. He's going to be credited with saving our constitutional republic and the world. Because if it's not for us, the globalist agenda takes the world. We were basically the last man standing that had a chance to defeat this evil. And we're there, guys. I can see the finish line. And Erdogan in Turkey is now trying to get the Turkish people to dump the U.S. dollar and start buying a lira because they're on the ropes too. It's hard to find a country that isn't in dire straits financially because of this. 10 years of 0% interest around the world has destroyed the world's economy. Okay. Let's see what we got for questions here. Yeah, as far as the timing goes, I'm still, I think it has to be done before the Christmas break, I think, for Congress. It could come in the Christmas break. I don't know. I'm still with Bo Polney saying that it's going to happen before the end of the year. Now, of course, Bo Polney's talking about the economy. I'm talking about both the economy and the swamp draining. Yeah, when you can get 2 Litecoin for less than $100, you want to buy as much as you can. Oh, yeah. Blomberg's campaign manager said that nothing can stop Trump from winning 2020. Hell, Blomberg said that a few months ago when he said he wasn't going to get in the race. Well, now they're begging him because they got nothing. He's not going to change anything. And now he's got his own staff upset because their policy was going to be they're going to keep hammering on President Trump, but they're not going to investigate anything on their boss. Really balanced and fair reporting, right? From another mainstream media hack. Yeah, and it's growing, guys. This support, it's It's developing into a tsunami. I've said President Trump will win 90% of the vote in 2020. It might go as high as 95%. No one's going to vote for a Democrat. Can you imagine when all this comes out? And I guarantee you that before the 2020 election, everyone in the world will know about the swamp. Everyone will know about the satanic pedophilia. And that's going to unite the world behind President Trump. People will be in how the same thing that you've had where, especially like in California, people were afraid, most people were afraid to say they supported President Trump because they were afraid of the backlash. It's boomeranging. Now, you're going to be afraid and really afraid to admit that you're supporting the Democratic Party when all this comes out. Because can you imagine when people find out what's been going on Pedo Island and all these other, Epstein had a mansion in Florida, he had a mansion in New York, he had Pedo Island, other locations around the world, this stuff was going on. Can you imagine when people find out? These people they wouldn't be able to walk. They wouldn't be able to walk the streets if they were free. And it's all coming out, guys. The economy, satanic pedophilia, the corruption, the manipulation. You can expect that everything's going to be going up pretty soon. Gold, silver, gold took a pretty good leap today. I didn't look at it in the last hour or so, but everything is still being manipulated. That's why, listen, if 84 million Litecoin really changed hands, it would be at $1,000 right now. But they're trading paper. That's why you want your Litecoin out of the system. People are waking up every day more and more. I don't think Amazon really doesn't have an impact on the economy much. They're not the ones responsible for this recession. When you look at the percentage of sales they make, I mean, Walmart has had a much more devastating impact on our economy than Amazon has. The bottom line is with what's been going on, there's nothing that could save this economy. We were doomed in '08. They just kicked the can. The problem now for them is they can't kick it any further. They can print more money that will cause hyperinflation, that'll cause the economy to go down, or something organic, other organic issue is going to pop up. Like we said, Deutsche Bank, any of them go down. Any of there's probably 20 banks in the world that are big enough to cause the whole economy, worldwide economy, to go if they go down. And there are several of them that are limping right now. They're done. It's just a matter of when. Yeah, listen, guys. I might as well hit this. There's a reason that we say physical silver and Litecoin. The same analyst who said Litecoin would be 3 million by 2024 said Bitcoin would be worth 12 million. You hear that and you think, oh wow, I want Bitcoin. Now you look at the price. I think it's, what is it, 7,600 or somewhere in that ballpark for Bitcoin right now today. Let's just say 7,500 to make it easy. One Bitcoin for 7,500, $12 million in 5 years. How many Litecoin can you buy for $7,500? Then multiply that by 3 million apiece. And what you're going to find when you run the numbers, you're crazy to buy Bitcoin. I mean, you will make money on Bitcoin. If you're a millionaire, you definitely want to buy some Bitcoin. But for most blue-collar people, we don't have a lot of money. I mean, we want to get the best return on investment we can because we're not investing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of us are investing 30 or 40 or 50. That's okay today. If you pay $50 for Litecoin and you're $3 million richer in 5 years. Think about that. If you hear this and you have funds available, even if it's $25, if it's $15, $15 could return you $1 million in 5 years. You're crazy not to put some money in this, because what if I'm right? And I believe that these numbers are conservative. I believe in 10 years, Litecoin will surpass Bitcoin in price. I think the same thing about silver. Going to silver and gold for 5,000 years, there's a historical average, and it's been 10 to 1. 10 ounces of silver will get you 1 ounce of gold. That's how it comes out of the ground. That's the price that makes the most sense. Right now, it's like 85 to 1. It takes 85 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. When this manipulation is removed, silver will immediately jump to its historical average. So if you just left gold, let's just say it's 1,500, well, that would mean silver immediately would be worth 150. It's selling for $18 today or less. And will be over 1,000 within a few weeks of this whole thing blowing up. So, and it's going to outperform, again, when you go to the historical ratio, it's 85 to 1 instead of 10 to 1. Silver is going to outperform gold 8 times minimum. So silver makes the most sense. Now, again, if you're investing a couple $100,000, then you're going to want to buy a little bit of gold, because $50,000 in silver, one person can't carry it. I mean, you might carry it 100 yards, in a pack. I mean, it's heavy. It'd take 2 or 3 people to carry it comfortably. And not that you want to have to carry it, but you don't know if things go south. If it goes worst case scenario, you might have to leave your home in an emergency. You have to think about that when you're buying this stuff. Your Litecoin, it's on your Nano S. It's a little thumb drive. Stick it in your pocket. You're gone. $50,000 worth of gold, you could carry in your purse. It'd be a heavy purse, but you could fit it, right? Not with silver. So you wanna be thinking about all these things. And anybody who has any questions, who's not sure about how they should split it up, message me. That's what I'm here for. And let me clarify one other thing. I'm not selling anything. Um, I don't accept donations. A lot of these channels and pages, they have subscriptions you have to buy. Um, there's all sorts of fees. They want you to donate to them. We don't do that here. I was called by God to do this. I will never take a penny for anything I do here. My reward is coming later. So I've got no angle here. Personally, if you want to spend your money on gold, it's your money. I'm here to tell you what God has shown me and also what I've gleaned from all the analysis I've done for the past 5+ years, 16 hours a day, pretty much 7 days a week. This is what I do. 5 years ago, I couldn't care about the economy. I know way more about it than I want to, and about a lot of other things. The information, the knowledge that I've gained is free for the asking. So don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions. Yeah, there's a ton of serious. I mean, it's a bloodbath out there in the economy. Oh, then the car sales are tanking all over the world. It's just one thing after another. Lisa's asking how you take them out of Coinbase, your Litecoin. So everyone who buys Litecoin needs to buy a Ledger Nano S. S as in Sam. Buy it directly from Ledger. I think it's $59 or $60. It's your hard wallet, your storage device. Once you get your Ledger, you program it, and then you transfer your Litecoin from Coinbase to your storage device, to your Ledger Nano S. Buy it directly from Ledger. Follow the instructions exactly. Don't try and take any shortcuts. If you get stuck, stop. Don't do anything else. And send me a message. If you follow the directions, it's fairly easy to set up. You get into problems if you try and shortcut it, and it's a totally unique system. So don't try and jump ahead. Follow step-by-step directions, and you should have no trouble if you do get a hold of me. The Ledger is this. It's the most secure storage device you can get. Virtually unhackable. And it, of course, protects you from it being in the exchange. So if you leave it in Coinbase and Coinbase goes bankrupt, your coins are gone. So you want this Ledger Nano S. I will post a link to my page and to the Watchman page, but it's just Ledger, Ledger, and it'll pop right up for you. Again, reach out if you have any more questions. Yeah, a ton of restaurants closing. Yeah, it's pretty. Anybody who's fairly computer savvy will be able to navigate the process fairly easy. But again, I want to stress, you got to follow the directions exactly. Yes, I will not encourage "I told you so" messages to your friends. Trust me, guys. Uh, I've got a lot of people that I would not mind rubbing their noses in this stuff, but that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be um, helping any way we can, and rubbing people's nose in it isn't going to help anything. It may make us feel better for a fleeting moment, but it's not doing what God wants. And we're really going to be needed when this thing is over. Um, well, I should say when it's over. When phase one is over and the swamp takedown starts, that's when our job really begins. Because right up to this point, we have just been battling it out, right? Inch by inch, person by person, winning people over. Once this happens, once the swamp drains and the pedophilia is exposed, there's going to be, the floodgates are going to open, and we're going to be overwhelmed with people wanting information. And we got to be ready for that onslaught. Yeah, well, it's all done, guys. Like I said, Agenda 2030, Agenda 21, it's all done. It's all a matter of cleaning up the garbage now. That's what happens between now and the end of President Trump's second term. It gets weeded out. Now we just got to cut the head off the snake. Kathleen is correct. God is using President Trump. I've been saying for 5+ years now. President Trump, well, about 5 years. President Trump has been anointed by God. God has his hand on President Trump, guiding and protecting him. He'd be dead by now. I mean, there's been, I think, 12 assassination attempts at least so far on President Trump. He's still walking. And he's going to be there at the end. Not a hair on his head will be harmed. Well, we'd be waiting forever, Kevin. Kevin's saying they'll start as soon as they quit finding more crimes, but that's going to be never ending. I just want them to have enough for execution. Get enough for execution. They're there, guys. Between now and the end of the year, this is going to happen. Could be any day. Bloomberg will not, like I said, if Bloomberg is the crash dummy they throw to the wolves, it doesn't make any difference. They will not get more than 10% of the vote overall. Not going to happen. Doesn't make any difference who it is. Schiff is from Southern California. Like Long Beach, LA, somewhere down there. These people are sick. Exactly. And stupid. Oop, oop, oop. Hold on here. Okay, and Gary's pointing out, you also want, so what I recommend with silver, you want at least a couple of $100 of 1964 or older dimes. They're 90% silver. I think who asked about weighing it? The only time Rebecca's asking about weighing it, if this goes worst case scenario, an ounce of silver will, within a month or two of a collapse, will be worth $1,000 an ounce and climbing. That means a dime that you can buy for about $1.25 today will be worth over $100 probably. The reason I recommend dimes, because they're smaller, right? There's like 14 dimes to a 1 ounce round, a minted coin. But what you can do with dimes, say you've got a dime and you want to go grocery shopping. Well, your bill's probably not going to be $100. But what you can do, you probably want to get a pair of tin snips, metal cutters, so that you can cut off of that dime, because if it goes worst case scenario and you're having to use silver to buy food or barter for food, then you're going to have to weigh it. So keep that in mind. That's why I recommend the dimes, because not only are they smaller, but you can also use a metal cutter, tin snips, to cut off pieces in case you only need a loaf of bread, right? It gives you more options. Gary, it already is a currency. There are 3 states, I just got through telling you, gold and silver are legal tender. They're as good as the US dollar. They're better than the US dollar because you can pay your bills with it in 3 states, soon to be 4, soon to be all 50. And unlike the US dollar, in a year, it's going to go up in value, where the dollar in a year will be totally worthless. Pick your poison. I mean, it's... No, do not buy a new car. What are you talking about, Gary? I think Gary was talking about something else, but here's the point, guys. If you are in need of a big purchase, I don't care whether it's a house, a car, appliances, any big ticket item, do not buy it right now unless you're in an absolute emergency. Wait till this happens, because everything, the prices will collapse on everything. Mark my words, you're going to see people buy brand new vehicles, brand new, never driven, for a few pieces of silver. That's going to happen within a couple of years. Don't buy anything right now that you don't absolutely have to. And don't pay any bills until they are due. I mean, you have some of these idiots, so-called financial experts, telling people to pay off all their bills before the collapse, when the most likely result of the collapse is going to be a reset where they wipe out all debt. Wouldn't you feel like an idiot if you just paid off your $20,000 car and then next week they declare a reset, when you could have taken that $20,000 and invested it in silver and Litecoin? On the one hand, you've got a car free and clear that you could have bought for 3 ounces of silver in 2 months. On the other hand, you're a multimillionaire in 2 years or 3 years. And you can help save the world in the recovery by being able to pay it forward and help people that are struggling through the recovery. And there's going to be a lot of them. That's why this is so important. That's why you don't get enough food for you and your family. You get extra food and water. You don't get enough silver and Litecoin for you to live a great life for whatever time you have left. You get enough so that you can help others with the excess. And if Litecoin goes to 3 million apiece and you've got 20 or 30, you're going to be able to help a lot of people. And that's all I ask, guys. I forgot to mention that. I don't accept donations. I don't charge for anything. The only thing I ask is that on the other side of this, you pay it forward. That you take some of whatever it is you earned on the information that you got here, silver and Litecoin, and you pay it forward. That's all I want you to do. That's what God wants you to do. Yeah. Home sales, you need to start looking at the home sales. They were actually on a decline nationwide. They just perked up a little bit because the rates helped a little bit, the rates going down. But home prices are dropping overall, and you can expect over the next couple of years, home prices will go down 80%. 90% on the high-end stuff. Thanks, David. Well, here's the thing, guys. Enough to go around. That's the whole point with Litecoin. There are 7.5 billion people in the world. There's only 84 million Litecoin, and there's really only 20 million left. There's not enough to go around. That's what's going to drive the price through the roof. You're welcome, David. Yeah, hold on to your silver and Litecoin as long as you absolutely can. Yeah, you got to fight to hold it, guys. Well, yeah, if you can get a car with no money down, that's the only way I'd buy a car. No money down. I would not put a penny down on a car. Okay, guys, that's all the questions. Just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Remember, time is short. Do your last minute prepping, your last minute buying, Litecoin silver, ammo, Faraday bags, the whole 9 yards. Don't procrastinate. When this goes, it's probably going to go very quickly, which means you won't have a lot of time to buy more Litecoin or silver. Probably groceries too. So don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Get what you need now, because it could be dangerous. If this goes quickly, there's going to be a rush to the grocery stores. There's going to be a rush to the exchanges to buy coin. There's going to be a rush to the dealers. You're going to pay a lot more for it if you can even get it. So buy it tonight. Don't wait. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here. Remember, fear not. God and President Trump are still 1,000% in control. I'll see you tomorrow night at 5. God bless.